telepathic ability, and under circumstances like that, I can see where I'm starting to project my thoughts now, and even that, it's somebody I'm with, I'm kind of close to, we're really great friends, and I'll think something and just just not even say it, and then he's answering the question, and it's just just proof that where we're going with this. So operating at the.
How long do you see before generally people get to that crystalline level you're talking about? That's not an instantaneous
Everybody's
thing.
path is different. It is. Everybody's journey is different.
Is it generational, like you were just describing, that take hundreds of years to get there because we're changing slowly, or DNA? And
actually, things are changing fast now. I mean, there's a lot of things going on right now, getting bombarded with energies, and things leading up to ascension in 2012. That there's a lot of things going on right now. Time is speeding up.
Physically, what does ascension mean?
What does it mean?
Yeah.
Well, there's different levels to get there. I would say ascension is when we arrive into the fifth dimension. And basically the way that I kind of understand dimensional existence is, okay, so here, we got different dimensions, we got 12, 11, 10, so on. And then here we are in third, and then there's 2, and then 1. And then from what I've read, and what I've researched and what I understand, this, level 1 is on an atomic level. That's about right. This is on an atomic level. And then this is animal instinct. And then basically where we're at right now is third dimensional existence, and this is the first level of consciousness. But it's not where we came from. We actually came from the higher dimensions. And I'm gonna get into this a little bit further down into the lecture, so I don't want to get too far into it. Basically, then where we're going to is heading back up the dimensional ladder, and that's going to be a jump from the 4th to the 5th. Where you exist as a light being, with a crystalline structure is what they're talking about. And then I heard this described as 4th dimension as a level of time and space, and it's basically it's gonna be a transfer stage from here to there, and also it's the astral plane, if you will. It really does exist. It's our state of being when we're dreaming. We're in the 4th dimension. We're experiencing the astral plane there. Also, I understand it as to be kind of like the period from where our higher being goes and exists when we pass on from in between incarnation to incarnation. So it's a transitional area, and basically existence in one dimension from another based upon your vibratory rate. Vibratory rate being your overall general attitude and personality, things you do, everything that we think carries a vibratory rate. If like anger, things like anger, fear, hate, those are all things that carry lower vibrations. That's all part of what exists in this dimension that we experience right now. From what I understand is that these when we jump into the 5th dimension, those things just cannot exist. You have to be able to carry a high vibratory rate, with things of unconditional love, sharing, unity consciousness. These are the only things that can exist in that dimension. Things like fear, hate, anger, all those that carry a lower vibration, they're just going to stay right down here in the 3rd because that's where they belong. They don't belong in the 5th. So does that kind of explain it a little bit?
So an enlightened crowd like this, where would you put that, on the upper 3rd, lower 4th?
Upper 3rd. In the 3rd and the 4th, because we do spend a lot of time in the 4th dimension when we're sleeping, or when we're in deep meditation. When we go into the astral plane experience out-of-body experiences. That's jumping into the fourth dimension. That's visiting on the astral plane right there. So yeah, we're in between the third and fourth.
So it sounds like the ascension is this body, not my generations ahead or anything. It sounds like this body will
Change.
come up
To a
into a
crystalline
light
structure.
body.
You won't have to eat as much. You'll have more of a glow to you. You'll be able to exist off of prana more than having to eat food, if you will. And from what I understand, you can exist as pure light in the fifth dimension if you want to, or for this coming ascension, we have the opportunity to take our body with us if we want to, but it's got to be developed, into the higher vibration, so that it'll go. So I don't know if I want to take this body with me. I'm a lot of weight here. I think I want a new body.
That was going to be my next question. Can
I want a
take one when I was
six-pack,
35?
Okay.
If you're in an astral plane, and that's like astral traveling, can you, is that the state of consciousness you need to be in to do remote viewing, something like that, do you think?
I think so, in a meditative state. I think you have to, enter into that level of consciousness.
I'd like to get to that level.
Yeah. Hi, how are you? All right, so let's see. Blah blah blah. Different kinds of races. I kind of covered that. Vast and diverse, higher dimensional angels, guides, third dimensional beings, grays, reptilians, white hats, Nordics. Proof of it, that they've been here and always has been. It's I've seen on the Ancient Aliens where they got pictures of the Vimanas and there's a picture of the Immaculate Conception with Mary, and then there's a UFO sitting up in the sky beaming down light, into Mary's stomach. I mean, how do you discount that? You can't, you just can't. Oh, and they haven't made open contact because of what. So we would have free will to develop on this plane, and I guess I'm going to go ahead and just talk about that. I'm going to skip the next part because it seems to be leading that direction of how I believe we got here and what our purpose is. So basically, I believe in the creation theory. Okay, I believe that everything came from the Creator, one God, if you will, one source energy. But I don't think of it as like old white man with a beard sitting up in in heaven on his throne or anything like that. I have to think. I think of it like in linear perspective, if you will. So everything had to come from somewhere. So we came from our parents came from their parents. Basically, everything has to come from somebody deciding to create something. So that's where I get creation theory comes in, and then that pops back all the way back down to one source, if you think about it like that. So to me, logically, that makes sense that everything came from one source. From what I understand, and I've done a lot of meditation, I've done communing with the Creator, and I speak to God, and He speaks to me, and that's, this all seems to line up. Is that we are all sparks of God creation. Go ahead.
So that means that, because I have that same theory, for everything that's been created, there's a creator, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where did the creator come from?
Good question. I don't know. I mean, everything, the way I think of it is everything had to come from somewhere. Does something come from nothing? I couldn't answer that question. We'll have to ask him when we get here, when we get there,
Well,
see if he'll tell us.
it doesn't sound right when you say him, because it's not
Well,
him
okay.
or her. It's
All right, well then maybe
Force,
that goes back
Star Wars
in
Force
my
is
early
supposed-
years of Christianity and the programming that I received. That's probably where you're right. So that was probably the wrong thing to say by him. But that, that goes back to my times of being a Christian, that.
But do you agree it's more like an intelligent force or power that permeates everything?
Yeah, pure consciousness.
And we have to refer to it somehow, so we call it him.
Right, yeah, I guess so. I think so. And then, like the Bible says that we are created in his image, I would think that our soul or higher being is a God spark of, the original creation. So, we are a piece of God, all of us, every single one of us. So then to get back into how we came to be here and what our purpose is. So we were all, all souls, right there, right there with God, just kind of hanging out, having a good time, and everything existing up here, in the 12th dimension, where everything's hunky dory, joy and love, and somewhere along the line, we said, well, gee, I wonder what it would be like if we were separated from Source, and what would happen. So basically, what they did was, they created the Earth. They had extraterrestrial races that seeded mankind, and then, our souls inhabited the vessels, and then a veil is put in between us now and to what we know as knowledge from the beginning of time, and it's all an experience to see what it's like to be separated from Source, from God. That's basically what we're experiencing right now. And we go through different incarnations. When we die, we hang out in the fourth dimension a little bit, pop back in, experience more of what it's like to be in third dimension, duality, if you will. The battle, between finding balance of light and dark. That's all part of what this existence on this plane is about. And basically, with 2012 coming up, it's nearing a close, and then the veil's going to lift, and then everybody's going to see that where you've been since the beginning of creation, what you've done, what this experience and this experiment was all about, what we've learned as God spark beings, what kind of knowledge we've gained from it, and then and evolve on from there. So that's basically stepping back up the ladder, if you will.
Does that go for everyone? Because I've heard about that some people will choose not to ascend, and so they'll remain on a plane like.
If they need to experience more of duality and more of this plane, they will stay back.
Okay.
And it's all part of personal
Do it
preference.
here or somewhere else?
And everybody's journey is different. Well, I kind of like. I keep bringing up the word canon. No, I do love talking about it. And her concept of it is that it's actually going to split into two. So this plane of existence is going to exist, and then the new Earth is going to exist in the fifth dimension. So it's actually going to split. I don't think you'll actually be see a physical split. And she kind of explains it that it'll be more of a subtle change, if you will. Like we'll pop into the fifth dimension and exist in the new Earth as fifth dimensional beings, and third dimensional beings. I want to quote her and say that they'll say, oh, poor Carter, he died believing all that crap, now he's gone, and that's how they'll think of us, when we move on to that dimensional plane.